league. Is that right?
Yes. I'm terrible in the league, by the way. For everybody watching who plays in the league, I'm absolutely terrible in the league.
Why not?
Fame and success might open a lot of doors, but they don't guarantee a smooth ride. For some actors, the spotlight got a little too hot, and now they're facing life behind bars. These 12 actors, once celebrated on the big screen, now find themselves on the wrong side of the law. What led them to this breaking point? Was it a rocky childhood, a wild career filled with chaos, or personal lives that spiraled out of control? Today, we're digging deep into their journeys, the highs, the lows, and the moments that changed everything. Get ready for a roller coaster ride of drama, scandal, and a few surprises along the way. Elizabeth Holmes. Elizabeth Holmes, once hailed as a visionary entrepreneur, became a symbol of Silicon Valley's dark side due to the scandal surrounding her health technology company, Theranos.
In being able to get people well enough to go to school and to be able to pursue economic development.
Elizabeth Holmes was born on February 3, 1984, in Washington, D.C., into a privileged and well-connected family. Her father, Christian Holmes IV, worked in various senior roles for government agencies like the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID, while her mother, Noel Holmes, worked as a congressional staffer. Elizabeth's lineage included ties to Charles Fleischmann, the founder of the Fleischmann Yeast Company, and her family often emphasized the importance of hard work and ambition. From a young age, Holmes exhibited an intense drive to succeed and a keen interest in science and technology. She was known to be highly competitive and focused, with a knack for setting ambitious goals. As a child, she was curious and studious, reportedly writing letters to her father expressing her desire to achieve greatness and make a significant impact on the world. Holmes attended St. John's School in Houston, Texas, where she excelled academically and showed a particular aptitude for mathematics and science. Influenced by her father's work in public service and her own fascination with innovation, she aspired to create something that would have a profound and lasting impact. Her entrepreneurial dreams began taking shape during her teenage years when she developed an early interest in biomedical engineering. Holmes enrolled at Stanford University in 2002 to study chemical engineering. At Stanford, she thrived under the mentorship of Professor Channing Robertson, who would later become a key advisor and supporter in her career. Holmes was inspired by advancements in healthcare and nanotechnology and was deeply interested in finding ways to make diagnostic testing more efficient and accessible. During her time at Stanford, Holmes conceived the idea that would become the foundation of her company, Theranos. She envisioned a device capable of conducting a wide range of medical tests with just a small drop of blood, eliminating the need for traditional venous draws. Holmes believed this innovation could democratize healthcare by providing affordable, rapid diagnostic testing to people worldwide. In 2003, at the age of 19, Holmes made a bold decision to drop out of Stanford and dedicate herself fully to her idea. She used her tuition money to fund the early stages of her startup, initially named Real-Time Cures before being rebranded as Theranos. Holmes's passion, combined with her ability to inspire others with her vision, helped her attract substantial financial backing and recruit top-tier talent. Holmes's charismatic personality and unwavering belief in her mission captivated investors, including some of the world's wealthiest individuals and influential figures. Her ability to pitch Theranos as a revolutionary force in healthcare was instrumental in the company's rapid rise. Theranos quickly attracted attention, gaining significant financial backing and an impressive board of directors that included high-profile figures like Henry Kissinger and George Shultz. At its peak, the company was valued at $9 billion, and Holmes became the youngest self-made female billionaire, gracing magazine covers and being compared to Steve Jobs, whom she idolized. However, by 2015, investigative reporting by the Wall Street Journal began to unravel Theranos' claims. Journalist John Carreyrou exposed that the company's blood testing technology, specifically the Edison device, did not work as promised and that Theranos often used traditional machines from other companies to produce results. Allegations of deceptive practices, misrepresentation to investors, and compromised patient safety emerged. In 2018, the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, charged Holmes and Theranos' former COO, Ramesh Sunny Balwani, with massive fraud, alleging they raised over $700 million from investors through false claims. Federal prosecutors later filed criminal charges against both, accusing them of defrauding investors and patients. Holmes's trial began in 2021 and captivated public attention. She admitted to certain mistakes, but denied knowingly misleading anyone. Despite her defense, a jury found her guilty in January 2022 on 4 counts of fraud. In November 2022, she was sentenced to 11 years and 3 months in prison and began serving her sentence in May 2023. Holmes is currently incarcerated at a minimum security federal prison in Texas. Ryan Grantham. Ryan Grantham, a young Canadian actor who gained attention for his roles in films like Diary of a Wimpy Kid and Riverdale, would face a shocking and tragic legal battle that would change the trajectory of his life.
Riverdale star Ryan Grantham has been sentenced to life in prison for killing his mother, according to multiple.
Born in 1998 in Canada, Grantham was a promising young actor whose career seemed destined for success. His rise to fame began at a young age, with his breakthrough role as a child actor in the popular Diary of a Wimpy Kid film series. Grantham also made notable appearances in TV shows like Riverdale, where he played the role of Ethan in the early seasons. His boyish charm and ability to capture the essence of his characters made him a familiar face in Canadian television and film. As a young actor, Ryan was seen as a rising star with potential. He seemed to have a bright future ahead of him. But behind the scenes, there were struggles that no one could have predicted. In March 2020, Ryan Grantham's life took a devastating turn when he became involved in a horrific crime. At the age of 21, Grantham was arrested after admitting to the murder of his mother, Barbara Waite. The shocking act of violence sent ripples through the entertainment community and beyond. Grantham, who had been struggling with mental health issues, shot his mother in the back of the head in their Vancouver home. Disturbingly, after the murder, he filmed a confession detailing his actions and thoughts. He then planned to commit further violence, but instead drove to a police station to turn himself in. During his trial, it was revealed that Grantham had been experiencing significant mental health challenges, including depression and suicidal ideation. He had reportedly been seeking therapy in the months leading up to the tragedy, but these struggles ultimately culminated in the murder of his mother. Grantham pled guilty to second-degree murder in 2022. In a sentencing hearing, his defense argued that his mental state had played a major role in the crime. The judge handed down a sentence of life imprisonment with the possibility of parole after 14 years. Once a rising star, he now faces a much different future, defined by his actions and the irreversible loss of his mother. P. Diddy, Sean Diddy Combs, born in Harlem in 1969, is a legendary figure in hip-hop, fashion, and business.
From an anonymous plaintiff to a bombshell revelation, the identity of the first Jane.
But his legacy is now overshadowed by mounting legal troubles. Rising to prominence in the 1990s as the founder of Bad Boy Records, Diddy helped launch the careers of artists like Notorious B.I.G., Faith Evans, and Mace. His debut album, No Way Out, 1997, catapulted him to global fame, earning him several Grammy Awards. He expanded his empire into fashion with Sean John, became a mogul in the spirits industry with Ciroc Vodka, and cultivated a media presence through TV and production ventures. However, his success has been marred by controversy throughout his career. From his 1999 arrest following a nightclub shooting, where he was later acquitted, to persistent reports of abusive behavior, Diddy's public image has taken numerous hits. The 2020s marked a turning point as allegations of abuse and misconduct in his personal life came to light, most notably from his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, who filed a 2022 lawsuit accusing him of years of physical, emotional, and psychological abuse. By late 2023, more serious accusations began to emerge. Lawsuits filed by multiple women and former colleagues alleged instances of sexual assault, trafficking, and abuse spanning decades. Disturbing claims included the involvement of minors, with incidents dating back to the early 1990s. In 2024, the Department of Homeland Security raided Combs' properties, uncovering illegal firearms, narcotics, and electronic evidence. By September 2024, he was arrested on charges of sex trafficking and racketeering after a grand jury indictment. These allegations have had devastating effects on his career. Sean John was dropped by major retailers, Revolt TV distanced itself from him, and streaming platforms reduced his airplay. In a public fallout, Howard University rescinded his honorary doctorate, and a Netflix documentary titled Diddy Do It, executive produced by 50 Cent, began production to examine the allegations and stories of his accusers. As of September 2024, Combs remains in custody, awaiting trial in 2025. facing the fight of his life as his once celebrated legacy hangs in the balance. Ian Watkins. Ian Watkins, born in 1977 in Pontypridd, Wales, rose to fame as the lead singer of the rock band Lost Prophets.
Yeah, I believe this is Grand Central Terminal is a perfect location to people watch.
Yeah, there's a lot of people here.
Formed in 1997, the band quickly gained a loyal following with hits like Last Train Home and Rooftops, a Liberation broadcast, becoming a prominent name in the alternative rock and post-hardcore scene of the 2000s. Known for his charismatic stage presence and edgy image, Watkins was a driving force behind the band's commercial success, with multiple albums charting in the UK and worldwide. But behind the fame, Watkins hid a dark and disturbing double life that would shock the world. In December 2012, he was arrested on multiple charges of child sexual abuse, including offenses involving children as young as infants. Watkins initially denied the allegations, calling them insane, but the evidence against him was overwhelming. Investigators found graphic videos, photos, and text messages that revealed his predatory behavior and his attempts to manipulate fans into aiding his crimes. In November 2013, Watkins pleaded guilty to 13 charges, including the attempted rape of a baby and conspiracy to sexually assault a child. The details of the case were so horrific that even seasoned investigators described it as one of the most shocking cases they had encountered. Watkins was sentenced to 29 years in prison, with an additional 6 years on extended license for his crimes. 2 female accomplices, both fans of the singer, were also convicted for their involvement in facilitating his abuse. Watkins' arrest and conviction caused widespread outrage and led to the disbandment of Lost Prophets, as former bandmates publicly condemned his actions and distanced themselves from the crimes. In prison, Watkins has faced multiple assaults from other inmates due to the nature of his offenses, and his time behind bars has been marked by further controversies. In 2019, he was caught with a mobile phone in his cell, reportedly used to contact women and maintain control over fans outside. The crimes of Ian Watkins left a permanent stain on his legacy, overshadowing the music that once defined his career. Fans of Lost Prophets were left grappling with the betrayal, as Watkins went from a celebrated frontman to one of the most reviled figures in music history. As of 2024, he remains incarcerated, serving a sentence that reflects the gravity of his crimes. Jared Fogle. Jared Fogle, born in 1977 in Indianapolis, Indiana, was once celebrated for his remarkable weight loss story.
For 15 years, I still probably average eating it 3 or 4 days a week. And, I travel almost 200 days a year as part of my job.
After shedding over 200 pounds through a self-created diet that included Subway sandwiches, he became the face of the brand's Jared Diet campaign in 2000. His transformation turned him into a symbol of healthy living, leading to appearances on talk shows, motivational speeches, and the creation of the Jared Foundation, an organization aimed at combating childhood obesity. Fogle's public persona as a role model took a dramatic turn in 2015. Following an investigation, he was charged with possession and distribution of illegal explicit materials involving minors, as well as crossing state lines for inappropriate interactions. The investigation into Jared Fogle began in 2014, stemming from suspicions about his associate, Russell Taylor, the executive director of the Jared Foundation. Authorities discovered that Taylor had been secretly recording explicit content involving minors at his home. When Taylor was arrested in April 2015, evidence from his computers and communications pointed to Fogle's involvement. This included text messages where Fogle expressed inappropriate interests and discussed his actions with Taylor. With Taylor cooperating, law enforcement built a case against Fogle. In July 2015, federal agents raided Fogle's Indiana home, seizing computers, cell phones, and storage devices containing explicit materials. The case shocked the nation, as Fogle had been a trusted public figure associated with positive messaging about health and personal transformation. In the ensuing months, the media coverage was relentless. Subway immediately cut all ties with Fogle, scrubbing his image from their advertising campaigns and social media. Public reaction ranged from outrage to disbelief, as Fogle's wholesome persona had been central to the brand's success for over a decade. Fogle's court proceedings revealed disturbing details. He admitted to receiving and sharing illicit materials and engaging in inappropriate behavior while traveling. The judge imposed a sentence of 15 years and 8 months, slightly above the minimum term recommended under his plea deal, citing the gravity of his actions. Fogle was also ordered to pay $1.4 million in restitution to 14 identified victims. The fallout extended beyond Fogle's personal life. The Jared Foundation, once praised for its mission to fight childhood obesity, was scrutinized and ultimately dissolved. Reports revealed that the foundation had allocated very little of its funds to actual programs, adding another layer of controversy to the scandal. Since his incarceration, Fogle has faced significant challenges. In 2016, he was assaulted by a fellow inmate who reportedly targeted him due to the nature of his crimes. Danny Masterson. Danny Masterson, best known for his portrayal of the rebellious Stephen Hyde in the hit sitcom That 70s Show, enjoyed a highly successful career in Hollywood before his life took a dramatic turn.
League, is that right?
Yes. I'm terrible in the league, by the way. For everybody watching who plays in the league, I'm absolutely terrible in the league.
Why not?
Born in 1976 in Albuquerque, New Mexico, Masterson grew up in a family immersed in show business. His mother was a talent manager, and his younger brother, Christopher Masterson, also found fame as an actor, notably starring in Malcolm in the Middle. Danny began his career early, appearing in commercials and working as a model before transitioning to acting. By the time he was a teenager, he had already landed guest roles in popular shows like The Wonder Years and Roseanne. His big break came in 1998 when he was cast as Hyde, a sarcastic, music-loving slacker in That 70s Show. The show ran for 8 seasons, cementing Masterson as a fan favorite and one of Hollywood's rising stars. However, after the show ended in 2006, Masterson's career trajectory began to falter, overshadowed by serious allegations and legal issues. In 2017, reports surfaced that multiple women had accused Masterson of sexual assault, with allegations dating back to the early 2000s. The accusations led to investigations, and in 2020, Masterson was formally charged with 3 counts of forcible rape. The charges stemmed from separate incidents involving 3 women between 2001 and 2003. Masterson, a longtime member of the Church of Scientology, faced additional controversy as the accusers alleged the church had attempted to intimidate and silence them when they initially came forward. These claims added a layer of complexity to the case, as the Church of Scientology's practices and influence became a focal point during the trial. The trial began in October 2022, and the testimonies of the accusers painted a grim picture of alleged manipulation, coercion, and violence. Despite Masterson's repeated claims of innocence and his plea of not guilty, the evidence against him proved compelling. On May 31, 2023, the jury found him guilty on 2 of the 3 charges of rape. In September 2023, he was sentenced to 30 years to life in prison, with eligibility for parole only after serving the minimum sentence. The 3rd charge resulted in a mistrial due to a hung jury. The fallout from the case was swift and far-reaching. Netflix dismissed Masterson from his role in The Ranch, and his longtime representation with United Talent Agencies ended abruptly. Former colleagues and fans alike expressed shock and disappointment, as the actor's reputation was permanently tarnished. The trial also reignited debates about accountability in Hollywood and the systemic barriers survivors face when pursuing justice, particularly when powerful organizations like the Church of Scientology are involved. Masterson's conviction marked a sobering end to a career that had once been full of promise. Once celebrated for his comedic timing and on-screen charisma, his legacy is now overshadowed by the criminal charges and the harm inflicted on his victims. The case continues to serve as a reminder of the importance of addressing abuse and ensuring that survivors' voices are heard. Will Hayden. Will Hayden, once celebrated as a master gunsmith and television personality, is now remembered for a dark and troubling downfall. Known for his role on the reality TV series Sons of Guns, Hayden built a reputation as a skilled craftsman and entrepreneur. However, his career and public image unraveled after a series of legal issues culminated in convictions for sexual crimes. Will Hayden was born in Louisiana in 1965, growing up in the heart of the South, where guns were as much a part of life as sweet tea and crawfish boils. He was obsessed with firearms from a young age, tinkering with mechanics and dreaming of building his own weapons. His time in the Marine Corps gave him the technical expertise to back up his passion, and after leaving the service, he decided to turn that dream into a reality. In 1999, Hayden founded Red Jacket Firearms in Baton Rouge. The shop specialized in custom guns and quickly earned a reputation among enthusiasts. If you wanted a gun that was equal parts functional and badass, Will Hayden was your guy. Then came Sons of Guns. The show premiered on the Discovery Channel in 2011 and took viewers behind the scenes at Red Jacket Firearms. It wasn't just about guns, it was about the drama of running a family business. Hayden was the gruff but lovable boss, and his team worked on some crazy projects, from restoring antique guns to building flamethrowers. The show was a hit. People loved the mix of engineering and reality TV drama. Hayden became a household name, and business at Red Jacket Firearms exploded. For 4 seasons, it seemed like everything Hayden touched turned to gold. But like so many reality TV stars, Hayden's on-screen persona didn't quite match up with reality. The first red flag? In 2009, Red Jacket Firearms had a major hiccup when they lost their federal firearms license over paperwork issues. Sure, they kept the business going by transferring the license to an employee, but it was a messy look for the company. Then came 2014, and everything came crashing down. Hayden's own daughter accused him of sexual abuse, and that was just the beginning. As the story broke, other women stepped forward with their own allegations, and things spiraled out of control fast. In August 2014, Hayden was arrested on charges of aggravated rape and indecent behavior with juveniles. The accusations were horrifying. Multiple underage girls, some as young as 12, came forward with claims of abuse. For fans of Sons of Guns, it was a jaw-dropping revelation. The Discovery Channel wasted no time canceling the show, and Hayden's world began to unravel. Prosecutors built a damning case against him, and in April 2017, he was convicted of 2 counts of aggravated rape and 1 count of forcible rape. The sentence? 2 life terms plus 40 years, no chance of parole. Hayden went from TV star to convicted criminal, his legacy forever tarnished. Red Jacket Firearms tried to distance itself from Hayden, rebranding under a new name, but the damage was done. The company struggled to shake off the scandal and eventually shut its doors for good. Mel Hall. Mel Hall, born in 1960 in Lyons, New York, was a celebrated professional baseball player, known for his powerful hitting and vibrant personality. During his MLB career in the 1980s and early 1990s, he played for the Chicago Cubs, Cleveland Indians, and New York Yankees. While Hall's on-field energy made him a fan favorite, his behavior off the field often drew criticism from teammates and coaches. After retiring, Hall moved into coaching, including youth sports, where he built relationships with young athletes and their families. However, troubling behavior during this time later came to light. In 2007, a young woman came forward alleging that Hall had engaged in inappropriate conduct when she was a 12-year-old member of a basketball team he coached in the mid-1990s. The victim revealed that Hall had manipulated her trust, grooming her under the guise of mentorship, and later committed acts of sexual misconduct. The investigation uncovered additional accounts from other individuals, painting a broader picture of inappropriate behavior. Authorities found patterns of Hall fostering close relationships with minors he coached, creating situations that blurred the lines between professional mentorship and personal boundaries. Witness testimony included details of how Hall leveraged his position as a coach to build trust with families and isolate his victims. In 2009, Hall was tried and convicted on 3 counts of aggravated sexual assault and 2 counts of indecency with a child. The court heard compelling evidence, including testimony from the primary victim and others who shared their experiences. Prosecutors emphasized the long-term impact of Hall's actions on the lives of those affected. Hall was sentenced to 45 years in prison, reflecting the severity of the case. His story sparked important discussions in the sports world about the responsibility of mentors and the need for safeguards in youth athletics. As of 2024, Hall remains incarcerated, with his legacy overshadowed by the events that led to his conviction. Amy Locane, a former Hollywood star best known for her role in Melrose Place, has been in and out of prison due to a tragic crime that changed her life forever. Once a promising actress with a bright future, her career came to an abrupt halt following a devastating incident that left 1 person dead and another seriously injured.
What around you? Well, after your father spoke to me, he had a sudden change of heart. Oh, darling.
Born in Trenton, New Jersey, Amy started acting in her teens. She gained early recognition in films like Cry Baby alongside Johnny Depp and eventually landed a role in the hit TV show Melrose Place in the early 1990s. At the height of her career, Amy was seen as a rising star, but by the late 90s, her acting work slowed down as she focused on family life. However, in 2010, everything changed. On June 27th, Amy, under the influence of alcohol, was driving her SUV in Montgomery Township, New Jersey, when she rear-ended a car while speeding through a residential area. The collision killed 60-year-old Helene Seaman and seriously injured Helene's husband, Fred. Amy's blood alcohol content was found to be nearly 3 times the legal limit, and witnesses reported seeing her driving erratically earlier that evening. Despite the tragedy, Amy initially downplayed her actions, claiming she had been distracted and didn't realize the extent of her intoxication. The legal proceedings were drawn out and complex. In 2012, Amy was convicted of vehicular homicide and assault by auto. She was sentenced to 3 years in prison, but this sentence sparked outrage, particularly from the victim's family, who felt it was far too lenient for the severity of the crime. The controversy didn't end there. Following an appeal by the prosecution, Amy's sentence was revisited multiple times over the next decade, with courts repeatedly increasing her prison time. By 2020, she was resentenced to an additional 8 years in prison, leaving her family devastated. Throughout the process, Amy has expressed remorse, but the legal back and forth and public scrutiny have overshadowed any attempts at redemption. Now, Amy Locane's story stands as a tragic example of how one reckless decision can destroy lives, including her own. Once a celebrated actress, she is now better known for the fatal consequences of her actions behind the wheel. Her case remains a sobering reminder of the irreversible impact of drunk driving. Michael Jace, best known for his role as Officer Julian Lowe on the critically acclaimed TV series The Shield, was once a rising star in Hollywood.
It was an emotional day for the family of April Jace as they sat in the courtroom behind her killer. Former actor Michael Jace was sentenced to...
Born in 1962 in Paterson, New Jersey, Jace worked steadily as an actor throughout the 1990s and 2000s, appearing in notable films like Forrest Gump, Boogie Nights, and The Replacements. His portrayal of complex characters earned him respect in the industry, but his personal life told a different story. On May 19, 2014, tragedy struck when Jace fatally shot his wife, April Jace, in their Los Angeles home. According to investigators, the incident occurred after an argument. Reports later revealed that April had planned to leave the marriage due to ongoing conflicts. That evening, Jace called 911, confessing, "I shot my wife," and waited at the scene for police to arrive. The couple's 2 young sons, ages 8 and 5, were present at the time of the shooting. Evidence presented during the trial suggested that Jace had intentionally targeted April in a fit of jealousy, accusing her of wanting to end their marriage. Prosecutors alleged that Jace had shot April twice in the legs before delivering the fatal shot to her back. Witness testimony highlighted Jace's history of domestic issues. His first wife, Jennifer Bitterman, testified that Jace had also been physically abusive during their marriage in the 1990s. Friends of April described her fear of Michael's temper and controlling behavior. During the 2016 trial, Jace did not deny the shooting, but argued that it was not premeditated. However, prosecutors pointed to text messages and phone calls leading up to the incident that suggested otherwise. The jury convicted Jace of second-degree murder, rejecting a self-defense argument. He was sentenced to 40 years to life in prison, with a minimum of 25 years before parole eligibility. Tammy Sitch, known by her ring name Sunny, is a former professional wrestler and one of the most notable female stars of the 1990s during her time in the WWE, formerly WWF. She is remembered for her role as a manager and valet, often accompanying wrestlers to the ring and playing a key part in storylines. Sitch became known as one of the first and most prominent divas in professional wrestling, and her appearance helped redefine the role of women in the industry. She was also a part of several championship-winning teams and had a successful career as a wrestling personality, making her one of the most recognized figures from the Attitude Era. However, Sitch's career and life outside of the ring have been marked by numerous legal and personal struggles. These have included arrests, legal battles, and issues with substance abuse, which overshadowed her early success in the wrestling world. In recent years, Sitch has faced serious legal consequences. In March 2022, Sitch was involved in a tragic car accident that took the life of 75-year-old Julian Lassiter in Ormond Beach, Florida. Sitch was driving her car when it collided with Lassiter's, causing the elderly man's car to crash into another vehicle. According to the police report, Sitch had a blood alcohol level of 0.280, which is more than 3 times the legal limit for driving in Florida. After the accident, Sitch was arrested and charged with DUI manslaughter, which led to her facing severe legal consequences. The charges were serious because the crash resulted in a fatality, and her high blood alcohol level made the situation even more concerning. Following her arrest, Sitch spent several months in jail while awaiting her trial. In 2023, after months of legal proceedings, Sitch pleaded guilty to the charges of DUI manslaughter in the death of Julian Lassiter. The court sentenced her to a lengthy prison sentence, acknowledging the severity of the crime. She was sentenced to more than 17 years in prison for the DUI manslaughter charge, and this case highlighted the tragic consequences of driving under the influence. She is currently serving time for the accident, and her legal issues have continued to draw attention, especially given her once prominent status in the wrestling world. All right, fam, that's a wrap on the wild ride of some of the most famous faces behind bars right now. From their high-profile dramas to the jaw-dropping crimes and those endless rumors swirling around them, it's like a real-life soap opera, but with way more orange jumpsuits. Let me know in the comments which story shocked you the most, or if there's anyone you think should have made the list. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and thanks for watching.